Hey, my name's James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about the upcoming interest rate cuts. Are the Fed going to cut? Have they cut? And are they likely to cut going forward? What about the Bank of England? And what does this mean for your mortgage? You see, mortgage rates are already dropping, and that's an indication that they believe that the Bank of England is going to carry on with these rate cuts. So in this video, we're going to talk about what to expect, what impact this will have on your mortgage, because that's really what matters. Do you really care if the Bank of England has low interest rates or high interest rates? You want your mortgage rate lower. So we'll talk about what's going on there as well. Now, if you're new around here and you haven't done already, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. We're on the way to 45,000 subscribers. In fact, we're likely to hit that this week. You can see around this video, we're a smidge away from that. But why subscribe? Well, you'll get all the latest property news, interest rate news, renters' rights bill news, leasehold reform act news, and investors news as well. And let's get some more views on this video. You can do your part by smashing like, tickling like, doing something to the like button. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and that really helps the channel grow. So, where am I? I'm in the south of France at the moment, or almost in the south of France, about 2/3 of the way down France, on the way to Carcassonne at the moment. So if you like France, subscribe, because you'll see a bit more French content while I'm out here. You even see some guest appearances. We had Amelie on an earlier video here. You might see my partner Katie. She's a bit more camera shy than Amelie. But anyway, you want to know about interest rates. So the Federal Reserve, by the time you see this, will have already had their meeting, and 99% chance that they held rates. In fact, I'd tell you to go and watch a video. You'll be able to find this on X. I saw it last night. Put Donald Trump, Jerome Powell into X. You'll see a video of Donald Trump touring the Federal Reserve building. And basically, Donald Trump wants interest rates to drop to 1% in America. And they're currently at 4.25%. And so he's manufacturing a crisis over there, because he can't fire Jerome Powell unless it's for something called cause. And cause means that he isn't acting in the best interests of the Americans. And so Donald Trump's manufacturing this crisis that Jerome Powell is overspending on doing up the building that they've got. But all the money has been approved by Congress already. And Donald Trump was walking round the building in his hard hat with Jerome Powell and made a video where he said, "You've overspent on this. The bill is now 3.1 billion. And Jerome Powell's just next to him shaking his head. Donald Trump pulls out this piece of paper as if to justify this. And the goal of that piece of paper was to show, look, you have spent that. But he was including all these other spendings that were 5 years ago. It was crazy, but there's a point to this story. And the point is that Donald Trump is really putting pressure on Jerome Powell to cut rates to 1%. Now, if he did manage to get rid of Jerome Powell for cause and saying, look, you've made all these problems, you've overspent, you're not actually a legit person in the job, I think the money markets would absolutely crash. Now, if you want a lower mortgage rate, that could happen, because the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve, they like to be close to each other with their rates. So the Bank of England's at 4.25, the Federal Reserve's at 4.25. The Federal Reserve likely hasn't cut by the time we've watched this. I'm being shocked it's not happening, basically. They're not likely to cut because of the tariff stuff in America. And so the tariffs is going to be inflationary. I 100% believe that. You've already seen Walmart put up prices, which is obviously one of the biggest retailers there. You've got Amazon putting up prices. You've got Hershey's chocolate putting up prices in double digits. So their inflation data is going to start creeping up. It's just a very slow process. So what might happen is, look, Donald Trump will continue his pressure campaign. He could get rid of Jerome Powell or make him quit, because it's just so uncomfortable working under that guy. Then someone else could get installed in there, and you could see rate cuts happen quite quickly. The Bank of England would then have a problem, because they want to keep the dollar and the pound fairly close to each other. And they won't want to be up at 4.25% if the Americans have got to pay 2%, for example. And that will put a lot of pressure on the Bank of England to start cutting rates. That's what we will expect to see. But regardless of whether that happens or not, you're going to start seeing the Bank of England cut rates. Now, their main priority is to keep inflation at around 2%. That's their goal. And right now, it's going to be around 3.5% for quite a few months, I think, now. And you're probably going to see 3.5% as the average this year, which is a lot higher than the 2% goal. But the Bank of England is also concerned about employment, and the employment data isn't looking great at all. It's starting to get worse and worse and worse. It could even get over 5% at some point. You've got employment problems because of an increase in national insurance when businesses can't afford it. You've got the minimum wage that went up when businesses are struggling. You've got energy costs that have gone up when businesses are struggling, and you've got business rates that have gone up. And so lots of companies are going bust at the moment, and unemployment is likely to rise. You've also got the threat of AI. I mean, I use AI in my businesses. I've got a marketing agency in my property business, and I use AI every single day in those businesses. And that means that potentially people that I would have hired, I don't need to. And so lots of companies will start getting used to AI, big companies, small companies, and that will mean there'll be less hiring. In fact, there are less vacancies open at the moment, and that is also going to hit the jobs market. And normally it hits people on lower incomes, but you're going to see people like solicitors getting hit. They're going to get less work because you can draw lots of some legal work up in there, or you can do research in there. And so there's going to be a lot of white collar jobs that are high paying jobs that are going to be lost to this AI stuff. It's crazy. So where do we think interest rates are going? Down. They're definitely going down, even with inflation rising. The American side of things, their inflation is going to go up for sure. It didn't need to go up. It's going up purely because of the tariff stuff. But I think it's almost irrelevant. I think, look, Jerome Powell is either going to get pressured out or he leaves in May. Like, his term is just up in May. Trump will install somebody else that will be likely to do his bidding. Yes, there are other members on the committee at the Federal Reserve that have to vote, but they will get pressured by a new person, and interest rates in America will come down. The English stuff, the British stuff that the Bank of England are focused on, they're looking at the unemployment data. That's not looking great. So that would help them have a reason to bring down interest rates. And so I think you're going to start seeing those drop. I'm very confident that we'll get a cut on August the 7th. And I think that that's going to be a big, positive move for people that have got mortgages. It doesn't mean things are going great. It's because the economy isn't doing great. That's why the rates are coming down. If we're booming, high employment, everything's going well, rates would just sit where they are. But the fact is we're not. We're moving in the downward trajectory, and ultimately that's why you're going to see rates come down. Let me know what you think. I think rates are going to start dropping way faster than you might think, and I think if you've got a mortgage and you've got a refinance coming up in the next few months, that's good. The only thing I'd say a little concerning is if you've got quite a high loan to value, your valuation might be lower, and that could be a sticking point for some people. Amelie's sneaking in here. She wanted to be in there. Say hi, Ams. She wanted, I can see she's following me around there clearly because she wants to be in Daddy's video. So do say hi to Amelie in the comments. Do smash like on this. Do subscribe, and make sure you check out all the other content as well on the channel, including this video right here. And I'll bring you some more content from France over the next few weeks, including that interest rate cut as and when it happens with the Bank of England. Thanks for now. See you in the next video.